And
I My dog had a seizure on Friday and he
uh,
rolled down the steps. He'd had one in May and seemed to be past it. But then Friday, and I sat for an hour with him on the basement steps where he ended his roll. We have an appointment Thursday with the vet. But what would you suggest or what causes
how old's the dog?
8 or 9?
Okay.
He was found on the side of the road.
Yeah. So you found it was a stray you found.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I mean, kidney function with an animal like that age, it's usually a little bit later in life, but like you said, maybe the dog had a really hard life. And, honestly, this is what I would give it. I'd go down to the health food store and buy some CBD and just shoot some down its throat.
How are these caps or what?
You can get it in a tincture. There's things that you could do with oils, but for an animal and given the age and everything like that, I think the CBD it would make them feel better if the dog is, because the dog because it had a hard time before you found it, you don't know the level of stresses that it's had.
Right.
So the other thing that I would do, I mean, I think it would help, but that the dog's already had a couple of seizures. Um, I would do CBD internally, like take a dropper full, and how big of a dog is it?
65 pounds.
So give it like whatever the dosage is on the bottle, give it like about half to two-thirds of what it is.
Okay.
And then if you have basil, put like several
Yes.
drops of basil in your hand and then go up the spine from the tail to the head. Like just kind of rub it into the spine like that. That will probably calm the seizure down and calm down the stress levels for the animal, because it like an animal, it's like when it goes into a stress state, like a lot of times it has a hard time shaking it off, and even though it could be years ago, it just will stay in that stress state. And so we want to kind of break it out of that stress cycle. So that combination of the CBD and the basil should be super helpful.
What, going to the vet, what will they suggest? Should I,
They'll probably put them on anesthesia medicines. Yeah.
I really don't want to do that.
I honestly, most times when we've had animals, unless there is like a really bad, like neurological issue or something, the combination of the basil and the CBD usually knocks it out.
Okay.
Yeah, like CBD is interesting because it's it works for pain, but it really, more than pain, it does things with like the neurotransmitters in the body, and it just kind of can regulate things in the nervous system in ways that other plants can't. And I used to go and do like therapy on some livestock. It was mostly alpacas, but there were some other kinds of animals too. And animals like your dog, like they can't talk and say this hurts, this doesn't hurt, I don't feel good, whatever. So you just have to kind of watch them, and there would be all these like kind of weird issues that would pop up. Like, they'd get a foxtail like down their ear, or their, something. And calling the vet out every time is starts to get pretty costly and everything. And so we just try to come up with old school farmer ways of dealing with it. And whenever I was in doubt, I just would squirt CBD down their ear or squirt like whatever it was. And it always worked. Like it was crazy how much it worked. And it's, like even if we got the foxtail out, there would still be like a bunch of inflammation in there and
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
for humans, it works. I think it works better on animals than it does on people personally, but
Huh.
uh, it still works good for certain weird things like this. And like seizures, that's one of the areas where, because there's different kinds of seizures, and it doesn't work on all seizures, but it works on a lot of the seizures. And so I would kind of go that route. I mean, if it was a human, we'd have them probably inhale like some like hyssop and do the basil and have them do this whole process. Hard to get the dog to do that. And so rub the basil on the spine, give a daily dose of CBD, and yeah, like it should make the dog feel better.
Right. When we got him, he had a collar on because the two young boys who found him put him in a lot with two pit bulls, and he was mangled and had scars around. So
Wow.
that alone, now he does not want to be around another dog. But he's wonderful.